The climate crisis is immense. It will require transforming virtually every sector of society imaginable. In that transition, we have to make sure that no person gets left behind.
Senator McConnell, I urge you to consider the constituents that you have thus far ignored. You have taken $1.9 million from outside corporations who exploited my community.
We've been talking to communities in Kentucky who are the descendants of coal miners who have seen their families experience black lung disease and more because of their occupations. We cannot leave those people behind.
Our natural resources are exhausted, our bodies broken, our spirits crushed, and now we have nothing to offer. But we are here to tell you that we deserve better.
Appalachia is one of the poorest communities in America. The thought of the Green New Deal lifting them all out of it and getting everybody a clean job and a livable wage and making my people's lives better almost brings me to tears.
In Appalachia, communities once dependent on the coal industry are grappling with the poverty, illness, and environmental destruction it's left behind. In this final episode in our series, we meet the young Kentuckians who have taken up the struggle as sunrise activists, calling for a Green New Deal.
My name is Lily Gardner. I'm 15 years old. I'm originally from Magoffin County, Kentucky, but now I live in Lexington, Kentucky. I would say in this movement, I was the first Appalachian. Thankfully, now I'm not the only Appalachian. When I was 11, we had a tornado that ripped through my town and it completely decimated the surrounding area. My house wasn't destroyed at all, but the entire community that I had grown up in was. I think it was incredibly difficult to see a community that was so deeply rooted in poverty already. We didn't have any jobs, we had no infrastructure whatsoever, but what we did have was gone. It was quite hopeless for a little bit because I thought that this was going to be the end or the final defeat almost of where I had grown up. I didn't fall into climate activism because I just hopped on a sunrise call. It was something that I'd been thinking about for a while and something that I'd started to connect with my experiences in Eastern Kentucky. I'd been thinking about a federal jobs guarantee for a while, which is a part of the Green New Deal.
I think partially what's drawing so many people to the Green New Deal right now is that it is one of the first proposals put forward at a federal level that actually mandates and stipulates that racial justice and economic justice must be a core part of any kind of ambitious climate and energy plan.
Bolstered by the Sunrise Movement, Democrats Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez and Ed Markey put forward a Green New Deal resolution in February. Then Kentucky's Mitch McConnell, the most powerful man in the Republican-controlled Senate, rushed it to a vote without a hearing or a shot at gaining enough support to pass.
I've noted with great interest the Green New Deal, and we're going to be voting on that in the Senate. We'll give everybody an opportunity to go on record.
This was to effectively quash any chance of its passing. So the first thing we did is we tried to find Mitch McConnell. So Aaron Bridges and a couple of high schoolers in Louisville, they went around to his office, to his condo. He was nowhere to be found.
Mitch McConnell, come look us in the eyes.
And here in Lexington, we went to his regional office. We protested and we talked about why we believed in a Green New Deal, and we were promptly kicked out.
Us got kicked out. We weren't even being loud.
The next week, more than 100 Sunrise activists took the search for Mitch McConnell to Washington, D.C.
We're making our way to Mitch McConnell's office right now. We have a bunch of Kentuckians behind us.
There were 4 of us who were from Appalachia specifically. There was still this disappointment in the fact that we were there because our own senator just hadn't listened to us.
My name is Kevin Shorett. I was born in Hyden, Kentucky, a town with about 350 people, and I've lived in Lilly, Kentucky my entire life. I learned about Sunrise when they were doing the protest outside of Mitch McConnell's office in Louisville. I just saw the awesome work they were doing, and I participated directly in the sit-in in the office of Mitch McConnell in D.C. His staffers, they just said, we'll call him and see if he comes down. And don't think they did, but we delivered them the petition. They kind of just ignored us after that while we spoke our truths.
Far too many of Kentuckians are being pushed out of our state because we have no economic future or stability in there.
You have the option to show that PAC money isn't more important than tangible lives. That's right.
The Green New Deal is the only comprehensive solution we have, and so I need you to look me and my fellow Kentuckians in the eyes and tell us why you're playing games with our future.
The action was crazy. To stand in Mitch McConnell's office and say, we're here, and you need to get here and look us in the eyes and explain what you're doing, you just feel the power of community.
Do you mind telling us how you feel now that we've been kicked out of Mitch McConnell's office, his own constituents?
I've seen the ecological devastation and the personal devastation caused by coal, and the fact that we continue to let these coal companies hold our communities hostage, and that's facilitated by Mitch McConnell, I think is disgusting, and it needs to change, and we need the better, cleaner opportunities offered by the Green New Deal.
I think what I wanted Mitch McConnell to know is that he has not represented Appalachians, but a Green New Deal does. And it offers a salvation and a hope that we've never felt as a community or as a whole, and that he has never provided for us.
I'm from Eastern Kentucky, born and raised, and to see my fellow Kentuckians rise up and say, no, we are not going to let you dictate Kentucky's image as horribly as you are right now. Mitch McConnell is playing off stereotypes to where we're all 100%, conservative, hyper-religious, hyper-dependent on coal. He wants people outside of Kentucky to believe that too. Does it weigh on you at all? My Papa Gross on my mom's side, was a coal miner most of his life. He got black lung in the mine, and my grandpa on my dad's side, Grandpa Gary, he was a community activist that actually fought mountaintop removal when it was poisoning the water supply. Most people here have some direct involvement in coal, and everyone has a horror story about coal too. Not that it doesn't have a spot of some type of appreciation for helping our economy for so long, but recognizing its horrors as well as what it's done to help us is, I think, imperative.
Scott Shoup grew up in Harlan County and spent more than 20 years in the mines in Kentucky, then in West Virginia and Alabama, where he made good money in management. But last year, he quit and came home.
I guess I lived in the same lie that a lot of coal workers live in for years and years. I thought the coal companies cared about me and cared about my family and cared about my community and my well-being, just, because I cared about it. So I guess I assumed they did. But, as I got older and I really started realizing that wasn't the case.
Scott's father, Carl, worked in the mines too, until he was badly injured and found a job with the union. The two men have watched their hometown of Benham dwindle in size as the boom and bust cycle of the coal economy took its toll.
Right there in the beginning of 2013, I think in a 6-month span, there was like 10,000 people laid off in the state of Kentucky.
Just bam, they went to work that morning and they met them at the gate and said, hey, here's your pink slip, man. Go back to the house.
If something like that repeated itself and we had the new Green Deal in place, then, you have people still being able to live their life as they normally do, you know what I mean?
And man, we want to stay in these mountains, man, and everybody's like it.
Well, you work, 10 plus years in any industry. You build a home and a family, and, to have that stricken from you because of something that's really out of your control, that puts a monkey on your back, man, that you carry around with you,
And it's not that we're against the coal miner. I'm just trying to tell people the truth, man, that this fossil fuel business, it's gonna be gone, man.
Yeah.
If it's not, we're just all of us gonna die anyway, burn the planet up, whatever. If we don't do something here pretty quick.
We as a state, especially people in Eastern Kentucky, we have to wake up.
There are people who have been depending on fossil fuel jobs, coal, oil, and gas corporations for a long time. So we need to ensure that if we're creating new industries to replace old ones, that the people who work in them are taken care of.
A just transition is something that Eastern Kentuckians have deserved for quite a while. It's what we were talking about 30 years ago when they said that coal was running out. And it should have really started then, because it is the transition away from a dependency on fossil fuels to the opportunity for a dependency or maybe just a livelihood that comes out of something sustainable.
A just transition to me, means community involvement. Getting the people that are affected involved and letting them have a voice and a say.
Benham is proud of its past as a coal mining town, but it's also investing in the future, and the Shoups are leading the way. Scott's father, Carl, helped launch a program to retrofit Benham's old houses and bring down electricity bills.
That's all them houses we just passed, and just like the house that Dad and them live in.
Scott is retrained in renewable energy technologies through an internship with a local nonprofit and launched his own business.
You can't just retrain coal industry workers into any industry. It has to be something that they're prideful about and that they want to do.
And here at the Coal Mining Museum, solar panels are now helping keep the lights on.
You all are about to get the other 20 panels hooked up, ain't you?
Yes, hopefully it'll be very soon.
I think it was a surprise being from a coal community, putting solar here. We have lost a lot of coal jobs. I don't think this actually caused any loss in coal jobs. I think it saved us money so we could stay in business longer.
I think that's what a just transition is getting on that level with the people that are affected, whether it's coal industry workers, whether it's minorities, women, people of color, whatever it may be. Getting on that level, getting those people involved and getting policy and legislature in place that supports these people.
A just transition to me means helping all the coal miners get better, safer, cleaner jobs that have comparable pay to what they have now. And that would have helped my papa have a job that didn't endanger his lungs. It would have helped my grandpa, even though he wouldn't directly get a job, it would have made sure that his water stayed clean.
Long before Sunrise came to Kentucky, a grassroots organization called Kentuckians for the Commonwealth, or KFTC, was working to create a more sustainable, regenerative economy here. The Shoups are members, and Carl's grandson Chase is too.
It's hard having people, try to get together and work on this just transition in Eastern Kentucky. But there's still people that are doing the work, but it's just getting more people to
get on board.
Yeah, get on board with it.
Hey, when I first started in KFTC, we had 3,000 members statewide, okay? Now we have over 12,000 members, and we have representation in all the counties.
I grew up around awesome people that were doing this work and really, inspired me to continue on doing this work.
And then see what you see coming around the side of that mountain? That old dirt and everything all piled off and everything. That's what they want to do up there toward Benham in Lynch. That's high wall mining, what they're calling it now, but I call it strip mining, Radical strip mining is what I call it. God, guys, they tear the whole side of that mountain off,
If we would let them, they would.
If we can't stop them, and we're trying.
We live in one of the beautiful places ever.
I'm telling you, man. If we can keep these coal companies from really destroying this place, that we might get some job opportunities in here where people like you, Chase, can go off to college and then come back, and have a place to raise your children and make a good living, like the coal miners did,
I will graduate in 2022. I'd love to be a photographer. Still want to be involved in being an activist and social justice work and stuff like that. And I'd love to live here in Harlan County and be able to do that kind of work here.
I always pictured myself leaving, whether it's for economic reasons or education reasons. People just don't stay in the area.
But getting involved in activism has inspired Kevin to rethink what's possible. Next year, he's going away to college to study political science.
It's in Louisville, but I have plans to move back as soon as I graduate. We need people to stay in Kentucky, especially Eastern Kentucky, to grow our economy back from the stranglehold that coal held over it, because coal is dying, with or without any political intervention. I think this is one of the most beautiful places in this part of the state. The Green New Deal calls for everyone to have a good, sustainable job that pays well and provides a livable lifestyle for everyone. And when these communities, whether it's African Americans, indigenous folk, Appalachians, they have not had the resources other folks have had in America. One of the major divides is through the socioeconomic status of these people. In order to break down that divide, that racial barrier, that socioeconomic barrier, everyone needs access to that good, livable wage. And that's what the Green New Deal promises.
You know, my hopes is that with all this movement and, you know, energy efficiency and renewables and, of course, the new Green Deal, you know, if all this can come to light, I foresee the next generation, you know, being able to work solar farms, you know, wind turbine farms. I think there's a major market here for tourism. I could foresee the new Green Deal allowing a solar thermal power plant. There's miles and miles of mountaintop that could be solar farms. I mean, the foundation is here. It's just getting policy to support it, you know. If we can make this new Green Deal happen, we can make Eastern Kentucky to what it used to be. I mean, to the thriving, you know, communities and economies that it once was.
Just as some context, we are really big environmentalists about literally everything, but we also have this deep love for clothes that we're trying to figure out.
The closest Sunrise hub is in Louisville, an hour's drive from where Lily lives with her mom. So she often organizes online, connecting climate activism with what she learned growing up in Appalachia.
For me personally, a Green New Deal represents my one and only chance at a sustainable future. There are a lot of things that really appeal to me in it. The transition to 100% renewables, the complete and total infrastructure change, a federal jobs guarantee. But overall, it's the fact that a Green New Deal represents an opportunity for me to have a future in which the sustainability or survival of our planet is not constantly on my mind. So I understand it as an opportunity for hope.
Throughout the summer and into 2020, Sunrise will continue mobilizing to put the climate crisis and the Green New Deal at the top of the electoral agenda. For Kevin, Lily, and other activists from Eastern Kentucky, gatherings like this town hall are a welcome chance to meet.
A lot of people are based out of Louisville and a lot of people are based nationally, and I'm kind of here attempting to stay remotely involved. And so it's very heartening to see, and it's very empowering to feel the energy of everyone in the room together again.
Solid as a rock.
Solid as a rock.
Because I think it's easy when you're isolated to forget that and to almost think that in Kentucky this work could be futile.
Living in Harlan County and like looking around and like seeing all these young kids and other places starting these, I mean, huge movements is empowering. It makes me think I can do the same here, you know?
6 months ago, no politician was discussing the climate crisis. Now there are over 100 co-sponsors on a Green New Deal resolution put forward by Representative Ocasio-Cortez and Senator Markey. Almost every major presidential Democratic contender has been forced to talk about the climate crisis and share their plan and back the Green New Deal, and that is because of the organizing that you all have been doing.
It's time we wake up, Kentucky, and progress forward with the times. Let's take a stand together, Kentucky, with a new Green Deal. Create a just transition for a clean economy for Kentucky and our nation.
The Green New Deal says in no uncertain terms that a just transition for these frontline communities is a must. It will fund coal miners' pensions, and it will get them jobs, better jobs, cleaner jobs, and renewable energy, because this is a compassionate and empathetic resolution. It cares about people and doesn't put people over profits.
I think 2020 is where it all begins, not where it ends. And I think the next decade has to be the decade of the Green New Deal. that we have to fight at every level to push dozens, if not hundreds, of policies forward that are going to benefit all Americans and stop climate change and reverse the damage that's been done.
So I don't know if we will win. What I know is that if we come together, we together are writing the next chapter of American history.